Yes, hello. There you go. What's up?
It's like a game. It's like
Who's going to speak first? Right. And we obviously don't rehearse that in advance. No. It's Gamble and Finn. It's larger than live. Reality check version. It's Monday night. So here we are.
Yes, we are indoors.
Yes.
The new title card on our Facebook page, it made you wonder. It set the drama. Are they going to be inside or are they going to be outside? And then old Thin Blood Fred calls me and goes, well, of course we're going to be inside. It's only going to be 47 degrees outside. So
a little chilly today. I'm not
going
to lie. Now, I'll tell you, if it were later in the week, though, it sounds like we could be outside. But tonight, of course, and everything that was alive in my yard is now deceased. Last night did it in. That's okay. And I hear people talking about cover your plants. I'm thinking, why? It's November. What are you covering them for?
It's great. I want to get one more day out of them, so I want you to look at them with bed sheets over them for the next 24 hours.
Few people in our neighborhood did that. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
I see people do that, too. I just throw them on the fire pit once they dry out. That's what I do with them.
That. We just heave them over the fence.
There you go. Well, I tell you what, we are one day away from making America paint again.
Oh, God.
And as we said last Thursday on WLW, where you can find us typically on Thursday nights, 9 to midnight on the reality check, everybody's saying, oh, my God, at least this time next week it'll all be over. Not even close.
No way.
Even close.
Not a chance.
Oh, my God. Tomorrow night is just the beginning of what we're up against. But we're just at the beginning of the show, thanks to our friends at Fueled Collective. We talk about the different places we do the show, the different places we go to get things done. You tend to be out on the road a whole lot, going out and doing stuff. I'm meeting people here, there, and everywhere, delivering paintings or whatever.
Beatles wrote a song entitled that.
But I believe they did.
Here, there, and everywhere.
Did they write a song called "Set Up Some Office Space at Fueled Collective"? Because if they did, that would come in.
They did, but they never released it.
Is that on the unreleased?
It could be still being in the works.
Is that side 3 of the White Album?
It may be. Yes, please. I don't. Please stop talking about the Beatles.
Okay.
Overrated, but anyway, that's a whole other.
You know, it's funny. I don't disagree. Anyway, so if you haven't been out to Fueled Collective, check them out. The office space for people who don't really need that much office space, with all the functionality, everything that you need, and when you need it, and it's flexible, including the social part of business, which is great. So tell them we sent you if you get out to check them out in Rookwood, and maybe we'll see you out there. Who knows?
Well, and if you're tired of going to certain places where people take up space and get out their laptop and sit there for hours so you look at them and actually make it seem like they're doing something, hit up Fuel Collective. People there do something, and maybe even sometimes guys like us don't. We just go in and hang out at the bar and meet people, and that's okay there too, and you can have your favorite beverage.
But we're not there pretending to do something like those at a place.
Correct.
I won't say any names, but it rhymes with Starbucks. Anyway.
Well, there's another one too.
Oh, yeah.
If you like bread.
Oh, is it?
Oh, it's brutal.
Does it rhyme with Monera?
It could, yes, maybe. And I'm guessing we're 0 for 2 on sponsor endorsements tonight, but that's
right.
okay.
We're going alphabetically, trying to mix it up a little bit to see how many people we can make mad.
We're working backwards. We started with the S's, now we're at the P's. We got a long way to go yet.
Yeah, we're gonna have a package that we're gonna sell called "You Don't Want Anything to Do with Us," but here's how much it costs you if you don't want us to talk shit about you.
There you go.
Anyway, no,
that should be the highest price package. As a matter of fact. Yes.
Speaking of high-priced packages, I'll tell you what, I have invested a lot in this right here, and I don't think I was the only one.
Did you have a bad day today?
I'm not the only one, I don't think, today that got on the scales like, I did not have such a good day on the scale, but
Fidge got fat shamed at the vet today. I mean, it's now here's the thing, though, and I love this. Of course, now you have to understand, I'm blamed for everything. Internally, I've been blamed for giving too many treats, for doing this. Now, here's the deal. She went to the vet, I guess 3 or so weeks ago, maybe 4. She weighed 13 pounds.
Okay.
And we were told that by the next visit today, she should gain 4 or 5.
Okay.
She's gained 6 and change. Okay, I mean, come on.
It's like 20 to 25% more than she was supposed to. I'm
doing
the COVID statistics on it.
Right, thank you.
That's a 25% increase.
She's in red.
Is she in red?
She might go to purple. But here's what I would tell you. She probably has had a few too many treats. And
she's a new puppy.
I know, but here's the deal.
You do.
But here's the other deal. We're trying. The vet told us that the last visit she was a little bit under where she should have been.
Right.
So we maybe bumped up the food. Now, you can relate to this from Calvin. Now, you got Calvin a little bit older than Fidge was.
Yeah.
But initially, when we were putting food in her bowl, oh, my Lord. I mean.
Well, they don't know it's not their last meal.
That's correct. So now, even like this morning, when, of course, I was vilified for giving her too much, she didn't eat it all. Like, she left some. Now, she will come back
because she didn't want to be
it.
fat shamed.
She knew what was on the horizon at the vet. So think about this. She got 3 shots and called a fat ass today. That's a rough day at the vet.
Well, I'll tell you what, that sounds like a typical Saturday night out at the bars for me. 3 shots and being called a fat ass.
Yeah, right.
But
I've had a few of those in my day, too, just for the record.
Can I tell you something, though?
Yes,
and
please.
this brought something. I got a whole list of stuff that we may or may not get to, but you just brought up something that just irritates me to death. The whole idea of fat shaming. If you are morbidly obese and it's your fault, I don't have a problem. If you make fun of me because I'm fat, that's my fault. Yeah. I did this to me. It's my fault.
Oh,
Guess what? Guess what?
No.
You are right. There's nothing I can do about it. You're
because
right.
they didn't tell you what ingredients were really in the food that you were eating, right?
No, but the thing is, I had some guy call me a fat ass one time, and it caught me completely off guard. I'm like, am I that much overweight? And then I started, and then it got to me, but I'm like, no, he's right. What am I going to do?
Yeah,
I mean, Ricky Gervais and a lot of these other comedians come out there and they do, and they're fat shaming. If you're that fat and you can do something about it, that's your problem. Those people are right.
Here's the deal. We, though, are not as sensitive as most. I mean, that's the problem with the world today. Well, and we'll segue that into what's going to take place tomorrow and beyond, because I touched on this last Thursday. I blame us. Yeah. I blame society for what's likely. I hope I'm wrong, but for what, regardless of the outcome, what I believe will occur in the coming weeks, maybe months, I blame us.
Oh, no,
we brought it on ourselves because of the society we live in today, where you can't say anything, you can't do this, you can't do that. You might hurt somebody's feelings.
Well, you know what? And it has never been on more hypocritical display than Saturday Night Live 2 of the last 3 weeks. John Mulaney hosted this past Saturday night and got called into question for talking about the election and
what did they think he was going to talk about?
2 old white men and the 2 old white men, and it's nothing's going to change no matter who gets elected. I can't believe he would say such inflammatory things about not changing and then Bill Burr 3 weeks ago.
I did watch that.
But the thing is, they were both right. They were both telling the truth, and that's the problem. Nobody can handle hearing the truth anymore. I don't want to go all Jack Nicholson on you here, Minnie Pearl, and I'll explain that reference here in a moment. But they just can't handle it because everything Bill Burr said was true. It's funny because it's true. Everything Mulaney said was true.
I got 2 gems for you of the recorded political messages, right? And we're not going to be. They'll flag us on everything, so who cares what we say?
We can't promote this till Wednesday.
Right. So yesterday we got 2 calls, and I love this. One, I thought, my God, the president has called me.
Oh, my gosh.
He's leaving me a message. And so it started, and it said, and Trump started to talk, and I'm not making this up. In fact, I should have saved this and replayed it back tonight. I swear to you, even in the it was to vote for Mitch McConnell, and he went into some hyperbole about how important Kentucky. And really, I mean, come on. But then the best part was he started, or he was giving. It was just a monologue of him telling you about McConnell. He was disagreeing with stuff in his own monologue, and I thought that right there is all you need to know. Then today, we got a call from some female. I don't give a shit about that. Today we got a call from some female about McConnell, and it was stuck. And it just kept looping back.
Well, how ironic.
Right. She would. Right. Yes. In fact, I think it stuck 36 times. I could be inaccurate, but I think it did. It literally, she said the same thing, and then there was he said something for like 2 seconds, and then right back to her again.
That's
and
great.
I finally I'm like, I can't. How long can I listen to this?
Well, I told you
can't even get a message right. I mean, seriously.
There's so many great metaphors within that story.
Oh, my God.
Now, I told you about all the texts I've been getting because the people that think my name is Kendra are just obsessed with the fact that maybe I haven't gotten all of the Biden-Harris information.
Right.
And so that I'm prepared to vote in Florida. So I got this one finally.
You better get driving. You got ways to go.
Well, I finally... I blocked all the numbers, and yet they still come.
They circumvent everything.
So I got one yesterday. This is word for word. Yesterday, 11:23 a.m.
Okay.
Hi, Kendra. Today is the last day to early vote. Why haven't you voted in Tampa for Joe Biden yet? Do you want to read my response?
No, you
I finally
read it. You
texted
read
back
it.
because I'm like, if you text back, they know you're a hot number, so they may keep coming. I was like, I can't.
You only got a couple more days.
I can't take it anymore. So this is word for word my response. Fuck off. This is not Kendra. I've told you this a dozen times. I have voted in Ohio where I fucking live. And I thought, I'm never hearing from them again. I get back. I will go ahead and remove you from our list. Have a great day. So someone picked up on it.
Right.
Somebody. I thought it was just a robo text or whatever, but it was like, it took me finally telling them where I actually live to get them to stop.
I'm not Kendra. I'm Amber.
Oh, I'm Amber too. I'm also
really
Amber, yeah.
Amber too, and she's got a lot of problems.
Oh man, yeah.
She needs a lot of loans, right? They send me things. Apparently, she's not very attractive because she needs work on her face. Because I keep getting sent things about cosmetics, and I'm like,
oh, did your vet send a note that she may be overweight?
Right,
as well?
She could be. And by the way, Amber, you've been eating too much. You better cut back.
Too many
no
treats.
more food. Yes, your treats are gone. Right. Now when you take a leak, you get no treat. You get a little pat on the ass and move back inside. No, so you know what we're doing for treats now? We're giving ice.
Oh.
Because there's no calories in ice.
That's great.
Right. And she loves them. She chases them around and eats the ice.
I'm going to move to that, and I'll probably choke to death, and then Calvin can eat my big, juicy face. Oh, my God. So speaking of treats, last night, Halloween. No, 2 nights ago.
2 nights.
Halloween. Sorry, I had a lot of Maker's Mark on Halloween. Yesterday kind of
don't feel bad. You sound like my parents. They actually called me a day late and said about Halloween, and I'm like, no, it was yesterday.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
Did you have any kids at all?
Well, because we had a ton.
Did you really?
Yeah, we had a ton. And Lori sat outside, and we did the full. She put on a table. She put the full size candy bars, and then when we ran,
nice. Is that how you've always done it, or were you just showing off for COVID? The C word.
Now I got to give it up to my neighbor. So my next door neighbor on the right, Bill, he had a great. So he sat on the porch and he put this tube.
The tube, yeah, we had a couple tubes.
I thought, man, that's kind of slide it. That's kind of
all
ingenious.
The way across the street. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's ingenious.
Yeah, we had the guys across the street used a piece of downspout that they cut.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then there's some other people that had a ladder. The people next to us individually bagged like multiple pieces.
Some people have done that.
You know.
Tex up the street, I love him. He put on his driveway, he put in and out. You know, like you're supposed to go one way and the other. He did.
Nice.
He did, yes.
I was going to actually sit out and have the candy out like about 4 or 5 feet in front of me and then take a spray bottle and go, achoo, and spray water on them when they went by. But I chose not to. I didn't.
Of course, that sounds like me. I tell the boys all the time. I've told them for years, like I'm going to set up these little contraptions in the front that look like leaves and you just drop down. Normal Halloween, I didn't do that. Dig a hole.
Really? Just go in.
Hey, you know what? Put a sign. Keep off the grass or else. If you choose to go on the grass, you get what's coming to you.
You know what I think? Let's just go full bear trap next time. Let's just throw the leaves over some bear traps, put the full-size candy bars in the middle of the bear traps. Think about the decorations you'd have for the following year. That'd be pretty awesome.
Now, did you have a lot of kids?
Well, you know what's funny? I had more candy than I usually have, just in case. I had a third of the kids I usually have. They were all really young. I don't think I had anybody probably over 10 years old. Maybe a couple of older kids. But it's mostly, and like for every little kid, there seemed to be 2 or 3 adults.
Well, I think that's what you got.
There were a lot of adults, and the adults were dressed up. So, and I told the parents, I said, you know what? I even said, because I sat 15 feet away. I was listening to music, drinking bourbon, and had a fire pit, and they were walking by. And I said, thank you for bringing them out, because I think I needed this more than the kids did. I needed to see something somewhat normal.
Correct.
And I have yet to find out about the mass reported deaths in my neighborhood of small children. So I guess it must have gone okay.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, it's.
But that was it. I probably had about a third of the kids. But I told them, I said, if you see something in there you like, take them all, because I don't want them back.
Right. Yeah.
You know. So
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Before I got fat shamed, I used to have one for you and about 3 or 4 for me. One year I got almost sick.
Yeah, too much.
Ate too many Reese cups and sweet, just a bad mix.
Well, that's
combination.
Yesterday I think I had for breakfast Reese cups, miniature Twizzlers, some Whoppers.
For breakfast?
For breakfast, yeah. That's my breakfast on November 1st every year. My leftover candy.
Leftover candy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I drink like a glass of milk to make it seem like it was okay. But yeah, so it was, it was good. But I mean, but what's funny is I think there were so many people out to give it out. Like 2 houses down, they had a movie screen out. And they were showing like a black and white movie
that's kind
on
of
there.
cool.
And I'm like, okay, it's on. Next year I'm having a live band.
Yeah.
That's it. We're having a band. They're just going to play the Monster Mash for 2 straight hours.
Well, I do think, but I think you bring up a point, though. I do think people, even those giving stuff out, wanted how. Even one guy had a sign, "Hey, thanks for coming. See you next year." You know what I mean? I think in the neighborhood, like the day after Halloween, like
right.
You know, I do think people, not only kids, but people just need some sense of normalcy.
And did you notice, were people more appreciative? Did they seem like there were more actual trick or treats, more thank yous? More all of that, because again, everybody wanted that sense of normalcy. I saw something, and I don't think it was in Cincinnati, and it's making the rounds on Facebook, but there was a family that put a sign out in their front yard that said, "No candy this year, child with cancer, have a great night, stay safe, we'll see you next year." And they had this thing because they don't want a bunch of kids coming up and having to explain it over and over. And in front of it was a pile of candy like this that other kids had left for that kid. And I was like, you know what? God bless them. Maybe there is hope. Maybe it's not our kids. Maybe they're still just disaster areas like we are. Well, but maybe those kids will fix everything.
I didn't participate because I was in watching, determining that every college football team that I follow, with the exception of UC, is a pack of losers. So I was watching 2 games at once. I was watching LSU get its ass kicked without Joe Burrow, 48-11 by a mediocre Auburn team, and then Iowa lose again. They're 0-2, and I was heated.
Well, I'll tell you what, though.
I was in the Halloween spirit, but for different reasons.
Right. Yes, well, because all your teams ghosted
I'm just
you.
a loser.
So, but here, did you or did you not hear multiple team or broadcast teams talking about the Bearcats?
Oh, yeah.
And, you know,
now,
where will they fall?
That was awesome. Well, I tell you what, I'm telling you, depending on how the ones in front of them, and it's going to come down to the issue they're going to have is in the American Athletic Conference. Now, they have dismantled SMU, they dismantled Memphis, and they've still got Central Florida. And honestly, I mean, I don't know. I'm still telling you, you've got Ohio State is in. Alabama's clearly going to be in. Clemson, Notre Dame this week. No Trevor Lawrence. They've already declared him out. So the winner of that game likely goes on to win the ACC in theory. And I don't know, man. I mean, you see, again, it's going to take the committee and somebody going, you know, they deserve a shot. And I don't know, you know, over a second. But in the SEC, there's not a second good enough team. Yeah. There just isn't.
Well, it's interesting, too. Did I read today Trevor Lawrence is now out of the Heisman talk?
Well, I would guess. I mean, if you miss – you know, it never, you know, depends on what unfolds. But if you miss a couple games, which he's missing at least 2, that pretty much kind of knocks you out. I don't know, the Heisman's so overrated. Yeah, but you're right. But he's clearly the one that, to me, would be the front runner.
Right. Well, and it was funny, too, because Boston College was sitting around going, hey, we're winning. That guy's not here, and we're winning. And then all of a sudden, they're like, "Yeah, we won. We lost."
Yeah, but
that did not go well.
Don't ask me to pronounce the guy's name who replaced him, but he's a 5-star. Like, he was the #1 recruit in the country, quarterback. It's the first time he's played. I mean, he's a freshman, but nonetheless.
Well, just by way of reset, he's Gamble. I'm Finn. We're here at House Gamble. We're in the fan cave, just a part of the gargantuan estate that is House Gamble. We like this area. This is kind of a nice area.
Well, it's warm. I don't have to freeze my ass off.
It is, and it's visually appealing except for the foreground.
Now, we'll get outside, though, with the fire pit. I do have wood now.
Oh, did you?
Gary the landscaper brought us some firewood.
This show's going better than I thought.
So we'll do that. So
you got sweat shorts on too, Fred.
I do.
All right, here, you want to put this?
Dude, I'm at home. I'm not. I mean, you want me to dress up?
All right, here's what I want you to do for the folks at home. Raise your left hand up and touch the ceiling. Your left hand.
I can't.
Just towards the ceiling.
Oh, no, I know why. Is there still a tag on this thing? There is.
Remember Minnie Pearl earlier?
No,
I said I'll explain that. That's for the older segment of the audience.
Look here. Hang on. We're good. Tags removed. My bad.
Anyway, we're here.
Well, I gotta thank
we just finished a fashion show that we're going to release later.
Well, my boy Jeff Brickler from BSN Sports, who's going to soon be the official apparel provider of us.
Right.
How about that? And their varsity brands. He gets me all kinds of cool stuff, and I guess this is one of the new.
You were very excited to wear that one.
I was thrilled.
Are these new shorts too?
No, these are older shorts.
Well, I hope I don't notice how excited you are to have those.
No, it's all good.
So speaking of football and holy cow, out of nowhere football, I mean, clearly my guys were lucky down to the. I
don't know if they were lucky.
I wish I could leave watching one Steelers game before the last 2 seconds.
The only thing is, though, I don't buy luck. I mean, when you're undefeated, I mean, they might be maybe fortunate or
fortunate.
A play here, a play there. But boy, Lamar Jackson, I mean, he's killing the Ravens with turnovers. He killed him yesterday. I mean, he really, truly did. But Pittsburgh is really good. I mean, they're undefeated. You know, to me, they're Pittsburgh and Kansas City in the AFC, and Buffalo's 6-2. I mean, Buffalo in theory didn't play all that well against Kansas City, but that's about it. Baltimore, to me, I don't know if they couldn't do it last year. I don't think they can this year. But I got to tell you, the Bengals.
Yeah, and that's where I was going.
Well, here's what I watched that entire game yesterday, and it was, you know, sometimes the Bengals win a game like that, and you go, well, you know what? They dominated Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I look back and I just thought, what could the better 2-5-1? What could their record be? And I'm not stretching it to say 6-2. So work with me. They lost 16-13, the opener to the Chargers. They should have won that game. Right. Clearly. Then they tied Philadelphia.
Philly,
That was horrendous.
Right.
I mean, they were in position to win that. They were up 21-0 at Indianapolis and pooped themselves in that game. Mm-hmm. And then the week before against Cleveland, they had that game won.
Yeah.
They should have won all 4 of those. Or even if you want to say maybe 3 of the 4, they'd still be 5-3.
Yeah.
With think about this now. They won yesterday with 4 replacement linemen. Makes you wonder about the guys who were in there previously.
It confirms what I thought of them.
They really can't run the ball with any real consistency. And, I mean, Mixon's been out, right?
Yeah, but I got to be honest with you. I've liked Bernard since day one, and he did some things yesterday, and they've got him. I mean, he's that sneaky little guy that nobody can even see him.
They
Those
still
little
have
swing passes and all that stuff.
They still have no tight end, really.
Right,
they don't have a pass-catching tight end. Green is still I mean, he hasn't really broken out.
Let me tell you something. Burrow has already written Green off.
So he's working with Boyd and Higgins. And it's all Burrow. I mean, the other piece.
Even Tate came up with a couple of good catches.
But here's the other piece. You notice who wasn't on the Bengals yesterday?
Yeah. Trouble.
Makes you wonder. Makes it, from going to this guy showing defensive rotations, I'm referencing Carlos Dunlap, of course, to him being shipped off and selling his house on the sideline after the game. It's amazing how, and maybe that was a vote of confidence for Zach Taylor, and these guys, Burrow seems to like Taylor, whether that's lip service or not. Nonetheless, now you can watch, and I looked at their schedule just to see, the rest of the way. They still play the Washington football team, the Giants, and Dallas. All 3 are horrendous.
Right.
They're at Miami. Now, Miami's gotten better. Miami's when they beat the Rams yesterday. They're 4-3 now, and they're at Houston. I mean, those are all, quote-unquote, winnable. I'm not saying they'll win them all.
And what's interesting, yesterday they should have lost based on everything you know about the Titans and those guys being pissed that they lost the way they lost to Pittsburgh.
You would have thought Tennessee would have come
in with,
I thought they had a really weird game plan. I mean, they
didn't have a game plan.
They didn't really run Henry.
No.
Then they got behind. They weren't very aggressive on their defense. And, boy, Jonathan Joseph, the ex-Bengal, he looks brutal.
Yeah.
Burrow burned him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'll tell you what, if you are a Bengals fan, you should at least, a lot of times you've had a game here, a game there where you go, oh, this is legitimate now. It is.
Well, and you go back to Carlos Dunlop him off our roster.
Right.
And I think that's a shot across the bow to some other players. I think some of them are like, uh-oh, this ain't the same old place.
Well, nor should it be. I mean, you got to change the culture at some point.
And they talked about that. Changing the culture of a place is not an easy thing to do. You know what makes it easier? Doing stuff like that. You don't want to be here? Get out. There's somebody that wants to be here.
Yeah.
And everybody, I mean, as the game went on, the defense looked like they were playing stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
Like they were playing for their jobs, a lot of them.
Yesterday, that was without question on both sides of the football. Yeah. That was the best game of the year.
I think it's the best game they've played in quite some time.
Yeah, because, I mean, when they beat Jacksonville's horrendous. I mean, so I'm impressed. I mean, it makes me – now, they have a bye week. They go to Pittsburgh. I'm not getting way ahead of myself. I mean, they're not good enough to beat Pittsburgh. They're not.
No, but you know what'll happen. I already know what's going to happen.
Come on now.
Oh, come on now.
No.
Anyway, if that's the worst possible thing that could happen to an undefeated Steelers team, to walk into that game and lose that game, just for me, I'd have to move.
Does Pittsburgh have a bye this week, or they play?
No, they're playing this week because I think their bye got shifted to take.
Oh, you're right.
They had to shift
That's
because
correct.
of the Titans game that was originally
correct.
scheduled.
Who do they play this week?
I just blanked it. I had it in my head and I blanked it. I can't.
But they do play.
Yes,
I think
but they are playing.
Yeah, and I think maybe
I don't think
that's
it's Dallas.
Oh God.
No, I don't.
Dallas
don't
is just
that was a root canal, that game last night.
I can't. Any game involving the NFC East. Now tonight it's Tampa Bay at the Giants.
Did you hear too? It's like Collinsworth, who was it? Wentz. Last night, I mean, he didn't look like he'd ever played football before, and
he hasn't
I
been
think
very good.
Collinsworth was like, "What is he doing?" He was he was laughing at him.
Well,
and I don't know. A lot of people don't like Collinsworth. I do. I like him a lot. I think he's good. But
anyway, at least
good for those guys, and it was fun to sit and watch because I had the Browns game here, the Bengals game here, and the Steelers game here, and you could hear the Bengals fans like cautiously optimistic,
right?
And
but you don't want to get too
a
far.
Smattering
in.
of applause, and then all of a sudden, and then woo, and then they're all out leaving thinking they were going to the Super Bowl.
And
so
how about it be
nothing ever changes?
If I didn't mention there's a lot of high school games, a lot of teams in it, but how about St. X, Lakota West?
Well, yeah, I've been waiting to hear the result. I tried you all weekend.
10-7, X won on the last with 27 seconds left.
Really?
They were being shut out. The offense averaged 51 points the previous 4 games. And this was a classic Bolden spect. I mean, these two guys, now Bolden in his second year at West, they were losing. St. Xavier was 7-3, took over, and drove 79, 81 yards, a lengthy drive in a minute and a half. And the quarterback, Brogan Mackay, hit Liam Clifford, the Penn State recruit whose brother Sean's a quarterback at Penn State with 27 seconds left. Somehow he got open in the back left corner of the end zone with a 17-yarder and felt awful for West. I mean, it was one of those where, it's one of those I hate that cheesy line, somebody, hate to see anybody lose. Well, somebody's going to lose.
That's right up there with the score didn't really indicate the game.
Right. But there's a lot of great.
Yeah, it always does.
But there's in the top 5 divisions heading into this week. So they go, St. X is now in the state semifinals. They'll play Springfield on Friday. LaSalle and Winton Woods this Friday for the Division II Region 8 final. That'll be a hell of a game. Make sure I get all these right. In Division III, Ross, they had 1,000 yards rushing and didn't attempt to pass in the previous 2 games going into last week because they just run the ball. They host Kettering Alter. And then it'll be Wyoming at Clinton Massey, and Roger Bacon continues to win. They host Springfield Shawnee. So a lot of local teams, and that's either the regional final or in the case of Division I, because they had fewer teams, state semifinals. So they're making it through the season. Most people didn't think Ohio would. It'll be interesting in Kentucky because Kentucky decided to wait to start. That might have been a bad play.
Bad idea. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I mean, there was all that talk about, is there going to be another surge in the fall? And we sort of predicted that there would be, whether there was or not.
Right. Well,
we would be told there would be.
It's all supposed to end tomorrow, right?
Day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow, Wednesday? Okay.
When the alleged winner comes out with their brand new plan.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Well, it'll be a stellar one. If it was anything like the plans they divulged in that what was called the last debate, I can't wait to see it take action.
I honestly, one of the things that I love most about political debates is watching whether it's Harris or Biden get up and say, Joe Biden's got a plan. I'm like, if you're the president for all the people, now might be a good time to tell that plan even now. Maybe share this plan and go, this is my plan. Maybe you guys should start looking at this so that we know that, because it's almost like something you have at dinner could kill you. Details at 11. It's kind of that whole thing. It's like maybe it's like I'm going to have dinner now. Maybe you can tell me now.
I can tell you if ultimately she winds up as president, I got 2 words for you: New Zealand.
Oh,
not a flipping chance. Oh my God!
I guess I get to the whole thing about because here's what I'm going to tell you.
She can't even speak.
Somebody, but you know what? As a prosecutor and everything, and in a high-ranking position where that would be sort of a key element.
You would
the
think.
Thing that I saw in 60 Minutes, the laughing gas attack was embarrassing.
Right, I don't get it.
I mean, that whole thing was embarrassing on all 4 counts. The Pence robot started malfunctioning and twitching, and they had the Diane Sawyer filter on Biden, he looked like he was going to give me a Werther's original and pat my head and put me to bed. I don't know.
Which actually, if you don't mind doing that in about 10 or so minutes, I'd take that. That'd be okay. That'd be all good.
Yeah, if thank God these bright lights are on, or otherwise I'd probably already be asleep.
Man, right.
But I don't know. I just the whole thing. I'm glad that at least the ads are going to be over with.
Oh my God.
I'm just
is Shady Steve.
Oh, Shady Steve. Oh, Electric Amy. Wait, not Electric Amy. What's her name? Electric Amy.
No, not that.
What is it? Yeah, what do they call her?
No, she was she's way too liberal. I mean,
extreme
Amy McGrath. That's right.
Yeah. Electric Amy.
And then the one is Schroeder is running.
Schroeder
She's just running.
Yeah. No thanks. Too late, Kate. Or whatever.
And then whatever happened to that 123,000? Where did it go, Shady?
Yeah. I always love this, too. I want to be the person on a campaign. I'll work for both campaigns that has to find the worst still photo of the other person.
Right.
So, there's one of Amy McGrath going, like she had just finished building a gingerbread house that she was going to lure children into. And
here's what I would tell you, though. I just wish I had brothers and sisters and they were in politics. Because I'd love to get paid $150,000 to do their clunky website.
Yeah.
What is a clunky website?
I don't know.
Who came up with that vernacular?
I don't know. I just all the ads are so great. It's almost like a temp. It's like Mad Libs. I think you could get Mad Libs on how to write a political ad. Adjective, adverb, noun.
They're so bad.
Word that rhymes with punt.
You know what's funny though? You brought this up too. When there is one that's actually decent, one that speaks to what you may want to know, it takes you like halfway through the ad to figure out to go, damn, this makes sense.
Yeah, they're actually telling me what they're going to do,
right?
Not what they haven't done or what they've done. And I've only seen one of those so far.
Yeah,
and that was Awesome Amy.
It was
Electric Amy.
Yeah, I know. She went through the. Yes. Where'd you get electric?
I don't know. I got Eddie Grant, Electric Avenue.
But here's what I would tell you about the only thing I care about tomorrow is I just hope, and I know this is a joke, but I would just hope that this country would prove itself better than what it's going to.
Yeah.
I know no matter who wins, and I go back, I touched on this Thursday night. This is the residual of you can't get an F. You can't circle someone's poor work in red pen.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a trophy. No one knows how to be a loser with dignity.
Yeah.
No one. So that's what you're going to get. You're going to get bitching about this process. They didn't count it right. Somebody screwed me over. That's the issue.
Well, you hope that's all it is.
Well,
I talked to Minifin today, and she's, up on campus, and she's like, I'm like, where are you going to watch the results from? And she goes, nowhere on campus. She goes, because who knows? A couple years ago where she's at school, they had, during the midterms, they had riots and people setting fires
that's what I mean.
over that nonsense. And I'm like, again, I got to go back to what we were talking about Thursday on LW. Thursday nights, 9 to midnight, 700 WLW.
9 to midnight.
What'd I say?
No, you said 9 to midnight. I'm just repeating that.
Oh,
it's late.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's very late.
But it's But
no, you're right.
We've always been admired, even if you hated this country from around the world, admired for the peaceful transition of power.
You're correct.
And I go back to, and I hearken again, like I said, for the days when the worst you had to deal with was, I think, the George W. Bush administration, as they were moving out of the White House, removed all the W's from all the keyboards in the White House, and that was their little prank to the next guys. But again, that's the good old days.
Right, correct.
Now there's probably going to be like some of that liquid ass and stuff just kind of placed around the White House.
But you're right. We're better than that.
At least
we should be. I don't necessarily know that we are, but we damn well should be.
We should be. And politics sort of plays a part in our show and tell this week. As well. I mean, and it was sort of weird because you picked something. It was your only political thing.
Well, it's funny. I said, I'm like, okay, I got to find something that's at least,
somewhat political,
and this is about as quick as I could do it. And the only thing I have.
All right.
Oh, wait, hang on. Hang on.
Intro.
You don't get this exhilarating intro. Man, we've refined the hell out of that thing, too. It's gotten better each week.
We really have. We just haven't seemed to be able to refine the introduction of that thing. Maybe
so
it
here
should
you
just
go.
run without us.
2012, it's a president.
Is that long ago?
Yeah, look at the top of the box.
Wow. Oh, that's the Cyclones?
Cyclones. Wearing a Cyclones jersey, it says more than just a game.
So here's a question:
Yes.
when they do things like that, do they have to get
It's funny. I don't know.
permission from? I mean, you would. Think,
I would think
of
you
all
would.
people,
I
the
would think you
intellectual
would. I
property of the
would think you would
president.
have to. I would think you would have to.
And then is somebody.
And I do
maybe it
believe
is
he's
public
left-handed,
domain.
right? So it's got him
He is
holding the stick,
left-handed.
so that left-handed.
And I think it's funny. You think they just? I mean, think about the good old days when all Obama had to do is sit back with his feet up and go, "Yeah, they can do a bobblehead in Cincinnati. Go ahead."
And I got to be honest with you, and think about what I'm about to say. Maybe the days of old Barack Obama weren't so bad.
Well,
except for Obamacare.
I would. Yeah.
Well, but I'm just saying.
I go back to 8 years of any one person.
It's
to
too
me
many.
is too many.
I would tend to agree with that.
I think. And I would tell you the last, it's funny because I don't talk politics a lot with people, but I will say the last president that I felt like stepped up and was what, and I know people didn't like his policies, but he was the head cheerleader for the country in a way I think this guy thinks he is, but he's not, was Reagan. I think he was a guy that during the Cold War and a guy that during that time we needed a little bit of a John Wayne. And
he was.
He's a kooky old man and Nancy's really in charge or whatever. But he stood up to, to Russia. He stood up and, said, tear down that wall. And and it really kind of made the country feel like we puffed out our chest a little bit, but together. But right now, and I'm telling you,
that's the
it's
issue.
Social media.
It is social media. It's way too divisive because of social media.
Yeah, and Reagan's economic policies and everything. Again, they tended into feed the rich kind of attitudes and trickle down economics and everything else. But I think when you go back and look at presidents and what you remember them for, I mean, Bush the first one. Bush the second one. I mean, you remember, no matter what you thought the guy was a complete boob, you remember 9/11 and him standing up there with his arm around that firefighter, said, we'll find the people that did this and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
There was a certain thing about Obama that I remember that first time I heard him speak, and I thought, okay, well, I'll listen to that. Let's see what goes on there. And then then it got a little scary. I mean, I don't know, whatever. We're getting too far down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And we're never going to be
but this is a good one.
But this one is politically related as well because there was a period of time, and I don't even remember what year this was. Do you have it up on the screen? Yeah, well, let me explain, and then I'll tell you when. It was when Simon Lease decided he was not going to run for sheriff again.
Right.
And I was sitting there thinking, and this was Weird 96 Rock, and I reached out to, I think it was Dustin at the time, our buddy Dustin, who was the rep for Hustler Hollywood.
That's correct.
And I said, who'd like to know that Simon Lease is no longer going to be involved in politics in Cincinnati? I'll bet you Larry Flint would like to know. So why don't you reach out and we'll host a party. Larry can fly in. We can set up a little, gravestone or whatever. He can roll around over top of it if he wants to, and we'll make a thing out of it. And it'll be in the spirit of the moment. It should be a little, by this point, I would think Lease would be over it,
right,
as well.
Where did Larry live at the time?
He was out in L.A. Out
okay.
in Beverly Hills.
Okay, gotcha.
And so they reached out. They're like, oh, my God, we didn't know. That's awesome. We'll let him know. He's like, yeah, we'll do that. We'll put together something with you. And then it got to be about 4 weeks out, and they're like, his health was not good. I mean, there's a couple weeks a year he was okay, and the rest not so much. But they did decide to do one thing at the stores. And this is the sign that in honor of Simon Lease no longer being involved in politics, this was how they said goodbye to him. And so this is the poster that they mounted on foam core and had on an easel in the downtown store. And I asked when I went down there, I was laughing. I said, could you get him to sign that for me? Because I feel like I had a lot to do with this particular promotion. And they said, oh, you absolutely did, because we wouldn't have known. So he signed this for me. It's hanging in my garage right now.
That's great.
But the best part about this thing is that's probably, 2 foot by 3 foot, on foam core. In the downtown store, they're on West 7th Street. West 7th? Yeah, West 7th.
It's on 7th. Yep.
On 7th. Or maybe it's
it's
East 7th
It's about
Street.
a block down from the
West.
Aaronoff, essentially. It's on that whatever.
It's not far.
Yeah.
They filled the entire front window with this same graphic. So there's this butt plug that's easily 6 feet high. and it's just filling the entire front window. And I went down laughing, and I was talking to the people in the store. They said, you have no idea how many Hamilton County Sheriff's deputies have come down and gotten their picture taken in front of this picture. So that was my nod to politics right there.
But that's what, I mean, honestly, though, that kind of stuff, I mean, there's got to be some levity and some humor to some of this stuff, doesn't there?
Yeah.
I mean,
and when a guy who lost his ability to function,
right,
as a function of what he did for a living and the sorts of things and the battles that he and Lise had, and the Charles what's-his-nut, who later on went into the was big involved in all the financial scandals. He was the other guy.
Charles Keating?
Keating. He was a big part of that back in the day too.
Yeah.
But I mean, if somebody like Larry can come back in and go, hey, let's have some fun with this,
right?
Right. But anyway, so that was my
there won't be any fun this week.
Not
to
politics,
guess, sadly.
No, and I think Tuesday night tells part of the story. The next 10 days to 2 weeks will tell the rest of it. And by the time we hit the air Thursday night on WLW 9 to midnight, it's still going to be all up in the air, and we're going to find and we're going to see. Where does Antifa stand? Where do, the people that are driving around 275 stand?
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm with you. I would like to think that we are better than what I think we're going to display.
Well, we should be better.
We should be.
We should be. Well, but it makes you frightened to think that we probably aren't.
Yes.
Sadly.
Yep. And if we got a little bit too far into the politics tonight, don't worry. We're not going to do it again for another 4 years. Trust me.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, this has been fun. Been a good one.
Absolutely.
And it's been a good night, and a little Monday Night Football in the offing here in just a few minutes. And we'll see you.
And don't forget, Thursday night, 9 to midnight. We have no house guests this week. We had Sean Foyce. If you haven't checked that out from last week, the drummer from Breaking Benjamin from Middletown, resides now kind of up north.
Yep.
And watch it on YouTube.
Yes.
So check it out.
On our dedicated channel, Gamble, capital N, Finn. Very much like the where you're watching this right now. We are slowly but surely going to be migrating everything we do over to YouTube, because YouTube, I just saw this, doesn't suck. Anyway,
how about that? And you know what? if you have somebody, you say, man, love to hear if those guys could get that person to be a house guest.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Yes, shoot us an email. Absolutely.
And that's Gamble and Finn, A-N-D Finn. I'll fix that at gmail.com. I know it doesn't make any sense.
But I mean, people sometimes have, hey, wonder if they could talk to this person, that person. Yeah, you see Chris.
Who's you
with
see
his
Chris?
the beer can guy.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to come in. He would be a good one.
Very good.
And we're going to have two guys who can do things with their hands and build things and work and do things that we can't.
Okay, you're going to have to
working on
clarify.
That. No,
guys that can do two things with their hands.
No, they can do things with their two hands.
Okay, that we can't do.
We can't.
Whew,
it's good enough. Guys
I think
who
I'll be
have
off that week.
capabilities to do things, we can't do any of them except
maybe
call them and say, build this.
Build shelves or
cut that down.
Yeah.
Plant this.
Make my yard look better than I can. Anyway, just people that can do stuff we can't, which is pretty much limits it to everyone on the planet.
Right, yes.
So if you have any ideas at all besides the entire population of the earth, feel free to send us an email.
And don't forget, join us Thursday night, 9 to midnight, in case you didn't know. Gamble and Finn, your weekly reality check on News Radio 700 WLW. Until then, yes.
Yes, thanks for watching and participating, because if it wasn't for you, there'd be no need for us. We'll see you Thursday night. Well, you'll hear us Thursday night, 9 to midnight, 700 WLW.